Okay, thanks for waiting. The next presentation is held by Karen Tamrazyan and is about edge, fog, and cloud, dark matter.
Yeah. So, hello everyone and welcome to this presentation. My name is Karen, and I'm really sorry if you expected some beautiful girl here in my place. It's a girly name, but this is how it is. Sorry. And I work as a solution architect and technology evangelist for MindSphere. But today we'll talk about some interesting stuff. Not that MindSphere is not interesting. It's the most interesting topic right now within Siemens. But sometimes you have to see beyond the things, what's going on right now, to see the future. And the future is somewhere out there. And to be innovative in our very dynamic and crucial world, you have to be sometimes do betting on the future, what will come up as a technology. And my vision is, it's not only just my vision. A lot of technology enthusiasts and professionals have this gut feeling that there's something there beyond the cloud computing, which is targeting what we really need for our customers and just in general in the enterprise and also in the private sector. So let's start. The topic of this presentation is edge plus fog plus cloud equal dark matter. And why is such a strange name here, dark matter? The reason is I don't know why, because I don't know what exactly it is. And we have to figure out what it is. And there are different projects going on right now, even within Siemens, and there are people here in this room who are also involved in this kind of research. So let's start. And we will start with some definition. Just to think further, we have to have some common ground, some basic understanding of basic things. And I just spent yesterday about an hour to find this kind of picture which have three elements. One is a cloud. Another one is fog. And here in this case it's an edge. This ground where you don't have air anymore, it's edge. And yeah, this is what we will be talking about today. So, what's the problem with the cloud? Let's discuss it. Why cloud is not enough? Well, security. Everybody, I mean, really, if you are into cloud computing, and I'm into cloud computing since for the last 8 years with my private company, and by the way, just during the daytime I work for Siemens, in the night, and on weekends I run my own private software company. And we are there since for about last 8 years. We're working on a daily basis with cloud computing, providing some web services on top of the cloud to very big auditorium of people. A lot of people are visiting our websites. But security is a big concern. Not that cloud have security problems. They are really good lately with the security subjects. They're covering them really nicely. They give you all the tools to set up your security in your way, how you want to design it. What about NSA? When NSA comes, they don't ask about your access rules and all this stuff. They just take your data. If they think you're a terrorist or whatever. So this is one problem. DMCA is another thing, you know. This is a kind of agreement between countries where somebody can claim that you infringed his intellectual property rights, and the operator of the cloud have to shut down. No, he will notify you, and if you will not respond within 24 hours, he will just shut down your service for just without clarification. And it happened to us several times, and these claims were not appropriate. We clarified it later, but the service was down for some time. hackers, like Russian hackers, Chinese hackers, they're all out there, you know, so this is another concern. I'm not telling you that the cloud is not secure. In most of the cases, it's much more secure than your on-premise systems. But this is a big concern, and this is also what we see with our customers. Like the concern is still there. Dependency. Once you push all your data to the cloud, to your cloud operator, you're always dependent on them. And once our credit card has expired, and they notified us 5 times, but I was never reading this email address, so they shut down the service again. I mean, it was my stupid fault, but the fact is, the service was shut down, and you are dependent in some way. The next one, lock-in. It's always a lock-in, or in most of the times. Different cloud infrastructures and cloud platforms, they have different APIs. In case to migrate from one to another one, you have to adapt your application to use different APIs, to use different maybe programming language. And they have different services, they named in different ways, and there are some kind of also dependency in this way. And sometimes just customers are very stubborn and they don't want to go to cloud. You know, in German language, cloud, it's very similar to the word cloud, which is like stone. And they always bring this reference and we are like, okay. So these are the challenges with the cloud, and maybe there are even more, I don't know. I mean, every system and every architecture has some challenges, and I'm just listing some which came to my mind yesterday evening, some challenges here. Solution, dark matter. As I told you, I don't know what it is. But I want to find people who also don't know what it is, but would like to figure out what it is. And I have a big stomach, and in this stomach I have a gut feeling that something should be there, some set of Lego stones which we could provide our customers or do ourselves to put a customized system together which will fit perfectly to this industry, to this factory of this customer. And if the cloud is not the solution, this is what the customers are telling us, in many cases, not always, then it should be something there which will target these problems and bring their Industry 4.0 or whatever buzzword to them. Optimize their production and help them to gather information, not necessarily all the time send it further to the cloud and be dependent on it, but do something maybe on premises, not excluding cloud. Dark matter is not about excluding cloud, it's about completing cloud. And within the dark matter methodology, there will be also, a cloud will take its role and it will have a place there. And this is where we go to the topology. It's very simple sketch. I mean, here we have a cloud on the top, and you have fog nodes. By the way, I just, with all this fun, I skipped this part, which is a definition of these terms. And let's do it really quick. Let's start with the simple one, cloud. Who would like to define cloud, like with just one sentence? Come on.
Some of services provided by
Yeah,
by
so
provider. Enough work.
very good direction. Any other ideas here?
Not my computer.
Not your computer, very well. Another one?
Maybe computing services reachable by the internet, where I don't care about the infrastructure behind it.
Yes, something very close. And indeed, we have a kind of centralized system. There is still, it's not really in the cloud, okay? There is still some data center or several data centers which have a lot of power, computer power and storage, which will run all the time for you, and you can have it as much as you book it, you know, as much as you pay for this. It's scalable, there is resilient, and there are some features of the cloud computing. So I think we have a clear understanding what's cloud computing. Now it's getting a little bit more tricky. What is a fog computing? Any volunteers here? to give a definition to fog computing? I mean, it shouldn't be like a scientifically correct definition, but just to have an impression what it is.
Yeah. Fog computing involves local nodes which typically turn petabytes into gigabytes. So heavy condensation of data, comparable to edge where less data is involved, like tiny micrometers.
Yes, yes, very nice direction and very good feeling of the technology. So somewhere, initial definition of fog computing was given by somebody from Cisco, and this is a company which is producing a lot of network equipment. So fog computing is something where you have on the network layer, not necessarily already in the cloud, so somewhere between your premises and the cloud, could be still on your premises, something attached to network equipment, some storage, some computer power to do calculations. So somewhere it's a little bit tricky, and there's no clear understanding so far what is it exactly. You can say different stuff about it, but maybe just a very simple example. If probably most of you have this DSL connection at home where you get your internet and you distribute it further to your devices within your home. And maybe a router could be this kind of a fog computer where you have network goes through this network device and you can attach some storage and you can create different demilitarized zones within this router. So maybe something like this. And you still have further behind this router, you have some Wi-Fi devices, maybe your laptop, maybe your smart TV or whatever. So now we go to the edge computing or edge device. And any volunteers here to define an edge device?
Can fall on the user's foot.
Again?
Can fall on the user's foot.
Okay.
So but it doesn't hurt.
Okay. Yeah, something like substantial, some hardware with some attached, maybe attached sensors or whatever. So this is what we have, edge computing. Basically, and also it's a part of the definition, behind the edge you don't have internet anymore. It could be some other network, like for example Bluetooth low energy, still some sensors communicating to this edge device, sending some data, but there is no really internet behind this edge device.
Final frontier.
Just, this is like, and what we talk about here, like maybe except cloud, these two terms, they are very vague, you know, there are different definitions of it. So let's go back to our solution, and there we have this topology or architecture. In this case, we have cloud, and we have several fog nodes. And behind the fog nodes, you have edge devices. And these circles here could be some sensors or actuators which are being interacted with edge nodes. So what's this tricky about? Like what's new about dark matter? The new thing about dark matter is that we can really avoid the cloud. You see this connection here between the fog nodes? Like if you shut down the cloud, it should be possible that you still run your applications, your network web applications, your storage and all this stuff just on the fog layer. And maybe even going further down to the edge layer. I mean, we don't have here interoperability between edge devices, it's not here on the picture, but I could imagine this kind of interconnection between them. And, but you know, the problem is very small. We don't have any framework which will allow this kind of interaction between different nodes. And this is what we are trying to solve with this. It's not a project really, it's just an approach, it's just an idea, it's just a movement. And this is a core, like if you have any questions related to the idea, please ask me. I want to have it like a dialogue here. Yes?
So in the cloud you are saving money by sharing all of the efforts you need to maintain the cloud with others. Do you share the fog node also with others?
It depends. You could share it with others. Probably that was the idea behind Cisco's initial idea of fog, that there are some, between your endpoint at your home or at your factory and and cloud or some other endpoints, there are many hops through different network equipment, which is somewhere there on the internet. We don't see it really. You can trace it, which hops you are passing when you do the trace. But so probably idea of Cisco was that it's shared, and but it shouldn't be necessarily shared. You could have it on your premises, like in the case of your router. The router is a pretty powerful device, actually, we have at home, every one of us. But it plays just a pretty stupid role, just sitting there, transferring, using the NAT, network address translation, just translating all the stuff from internet to your private net and back in another direction. But it can do much more stuff. And these fork nodes, they could be shared, or they could be your private nodes. If you have several houses, or like maybe your parents are living in another house, you could share some stuff with this node, with this fork nodes, within the fork nodes. And like nowadays, if I want to have my files available all the time, all over the world, I go and use cloud computing. I just push all my files, probably not all of the files, but big chunk of my files to the cloud. So it's big exposed, not really exposed. I mean, there are still passwords, certificates protected, but who will protect me from NSA? I mean, just in case. I'm not doing anything bad, but there are some errors are happening in the world, you know. Maybe somebody will mix up your name with somebody else, with some pretty girl, you know, and she will be kind of a terrorist, and I will be targeted accidentally. This is what we want to avoid, where we take control back to us. And yeah, another solution would be, for example, with this attached storage. Why I cannot attach this storage to my router at home and make this IP address translated always, because it's a dynamic, by using just dynamic DNS service, it will be translated into some domain name, and it will be always available still in the whole world to me, but without cloud computing. Something like this. Yeah?
Did you try to remove somehow the man in the middle?
Definitely, by removing cloud, you are somehow removing the man in the middle. And man in the middle is always a good business, you know. For the man in the middle.
No, I see where you go now.
There are a lot of solutions for all this, like my next cloud on my Raspberry Pi and. So
yeah, but
it's
there is
about
no
ownership,
yeah,
and the cloud is not yours.
Yeah, but this is a solution for geeks, right? If you are a geek, you build some system because you are paranoid or whatever. But why we cannot enable everybody to be a geek, you know, by creating this kind of framework and giving you all the power to control this kind of system? Yes?
So that means the fork nodes are somehow peer-to-peer connected?
Definitely, it could be. It's how this is what we also want to target.
It should be that.
Yeah, because if you think of edge nodes, these edge nodes are becoming more and more powerful every single year or 2 years,
Right.
and you're replacing very frequently these devices because of their short lifestyle, and they're getting more power and computational power and storage and everything. Why not to push all this stuff and make it very like a RAID system, you know? It shouldn't be like everything on one node only, but it should be distributed in a secure way within your premises maybe, or some other premises.
Can I drop a
Yeah, no problem.
So, well, that sounds very much to me like like a BitTorrent, where nobody learned the torrent. It's distributed. You cannot. Am I wrong when I say this?
No, it's the right direction, and we inspire ourselves with the technologies like peer-to-peer and blockchain, and I think this is the next step in the humanity to take, but it's not, at this moment, it's not very commercial, so big companies like, I don't know, I think Siemens should support this kind of next step and figure out, and I have one slide on this, what business models are possible there. Because it's not the matter like we will go this way or we will not go this way. It will happen. And you are either with the trend or with this future, or you are not. Because like all these automobile companies, they were resisting electronic cars. But then it just happened, and they had to live with this.
There is, and this is the last one, I promise.
Yeah, no problem. We can chat afterwards.
There is
as
something
well.
which is called, I think, object box, which is a age storage, which is similar with you, where you are able to store things, not files, things.
Yeah.
And they are more or less distributed among a lot of edge nodes. I think this is very similar with the frog nodes.
Probably, and that's why we're seeking smart guys like you to join the community. And because I'm coming from the software background, and I know I try to learn all the time new stuff, but I don't know everything. And there are smart people out there who know more or something different, and that's why I'm very much like pro crowdsourcing, and we have to come together and figure out how to solve our problems and how to help people and companies to do business with each other. There is still business possibilities, and I think Siemens have to. Yes, please?
So you heard our talk about seamless computing. How would you compare your idea with that? How is it different and how is it similar?
Yeah, it definitely goes in the same direction with the seamless computing, fluid computing, all this stuff, which was there like 20 years ago, probably the ideas at least. But now it's a time when the idea is catching up with the technology, and where we can marry these both things and do some really interesting things with this. I'm not just speaking about some prototypes, but just by creating some real frameworks and products. It is the right time to do these things, and not just only just research, but the research is there has been a lot done already in this direction. And for example, and I will touch on this as well, containers. This is what we will be also leveraging within our framework, and they were definitely it was a long time since there were containers, but it's now booming right now, and it's very popular, and there are a lot of developers who are familiar with these technologies. This is why I think it's the right time to really deliver something scalable, something big.
So it's FogSphere after MindSphere?
I hope that MindSphere it can have the same name. It shouldn't be change the name, but I hope that it will, and it's definitely already going in this direction. But I think it's more like chasing the trend instead of predicting what's coming in the future and being on top of it. And MindSphere is going in the direction of edge computing, and we have Siemens is such a no-brainer company when it comes to edge computing and all the sensors and all these devices on the shop floor. It's just perfectly fitting to this kind of framework.
So I think in the future we're going to see these two worlds kind of collide each other.
Yeah, maybe, but this collision will be. I mean, it's not a matter of will it be or will it not be. It's just a matter of time when it will be. And my idea here is not to resist the future, but just accept it and see how can we profit out of it, how we can apply to this. And yeah.
It was a question behind me.
Yeah,
sorry.
please. Yeah, some questions? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the business models. At the end, you still need this edge devices. You still need this fog equipment. This is what Siemens were doing already for many decades, and it will continue doing this kind of stuff, providing this hardware to industrial customers. I don't know if it will provide some hardware to consumer market. Let's see. I think it's still possible for Siemens to do this, but the factories need still these devices to be there on the shop floor, and we are doing this kind of stuff. And maybe we can just roll out this kind of framework, or enable this hardware to be dark matter capable. It shouldn't be necessarily dark matter. Dark matter is just an idea, it's just a direction. Maybe the final name will be different, maybe somebody who will win the market will be a completely different team. Yeah, and I put it there like lease. This is a very interesting business model for enterprise customers, and in many cases it's similar with the cars. They don't want to care about it. They don't want to invest a lot of money in it. They just want to lease it and pay every month some specific amount. And this is what is fitting really nice to companies like Siemens, because you can provide additional services on top of this leasing. You still have this connection to your customers on a permanent basis. It's not only just you sold some boxes and you forgot about the customer, or they forgot about you. Well, when you have this kind of set of Lego stones, you will need someone to design different customized systems to your customers. And me, as a solution architect, I'm developing right now this kind of Siemens on top of MindSphere and cloud computing for our customers. But this kind of services are still required, and Siemens is a company who can provide this kind of services. Another one is sell add-on applications and services. We did talk a lot about applications and services, and one of the concepts of the MindSphere to run similar applications and services and provide storage on different nodes. And it should be really very flexible so that you can design in this previous phase where the storage or your applications should be located, and what's the fallback plan when your application fails or your node fails, what's the backup plan? Where should the same application run on another node to support it, or just different distributed nodes? Provide consulting and support, and you can also provide some kind of warranty service for your devices or for your architecture. And maybe I don't see many other opportunities which are out there, and we have to figure out. Yes?
You always hear things, location A, location B, location C. What about a moving service?
Well, it's a nice idea, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got many locations, but who moves the stuff around?
Yeah, I mean, definitely some fleet management where you have... This is very interesting idea or direction where you have moving objects, mobile objects like smart cars, autonomous
also
cars.
your data and your applications. I mean, if you're going for cloud edge computing, you pay, and your provider pays yours there, and then you find another vendor and move it over. I mean, not just a moving car, but really moving your data and your application from one to another, maybe from the edge, whatever.
Yes.
Because it's more expensive, it's cheaper at this location.
Yes, this is the beauty if you have kind of neutral framework, not from one specific vendor, but from some open source community or some alliance of several companies. So, and you know, the concept I'm thinking about, it's not just think from the perspective, let's lock in this customer with us. It's not working anymore, guys, you know? It's not working anymore. It's not how you build your future, how you build a future system. In the future, you have to be more loyal to your customer, but be very competitive to be sure that your customer will stay with you long term. It means you will put in some stress on yourself to be constantly up to date, innovative, and thinking always forward. But this is the world we live right now, and there's no chance anymore. Maybe it works in some market where there's not so high competition going on, to lock in your customer, like be dependent on you and everything. But in the future, I'm very skeptical about these schemes. You have to be really open. You have to be honest to your customer about services you provide, about it's a very strong argument to say you can take your data, your applications, whatever, anytime and move seamlessly to another provider. It's a security for the customer. Yes?
And it's a guarantee not to make money.
Again?
It's a guarantee not to make money. But he will
You
always
have
go
to
to
be
the
creative
cheapest.
nowadays to make money. Because industry is a very sweet spot where a lot of money is being made and a lot of competition is expected here.
That's for sure, but if you're not offering added value, If you're telling him you can get the same service over there, he will go to the cheapest.
No. I didn't say this. You are supposed to provide best service to a customer. But you also have to assure them that they can, if they're not satisfied, like maybe CEO will change in 1 year. Something will happen to this company. You have to make sure that they can move anytime to anywhere else. This is a security which they have. Because they're investing a lot of effort to this kind of systems, and they will not go. They're not stupid. We shouldn't think of customers or anybody else out there as a stupid. You know, they will not on their view go into this closed system. Or another way, you have your arguments. Other arguments have to be so strong that they will agree on that. But naturally, it's not a natural kind of striving of some customer or just people in general to go in a closed system and be dependent. There was a question there?
I would like to put here smart contract on this list. It's
Smart? Yeah, as a part of blockchain, definitely.
It's blockchain driven, but it's not depending. The idea of the kind of contract what can be rejected from both sides in a dynamical way, which will broke the classic contract sign, which you can hardly broke. So a dynamic way to do business, and I think this answers a little bit the question, how are you going to do money? Well, the money will be not definitive coin what's in your pocket, it will be a kind of goods what you exchange between two or more parts. I think the revenue will be created by moving parts to this node.
Great idea, and definitely, you know what, we need you on our team. Are we out of time? Or very close?
Very close.
Okay, let's go quick. Community principles, this is about our community. No bosses, we hate bosses. Meritocracy, like everybody, what you're capable of, do this. Don't ask for permission, just do this. If you break a system, that's it. Just we will together we will fix it. Inclusive. We are inclusive, not exclusive. Everybody who want to participate in this movement, in this framework, is welcome to join. And have fun. Join the movement. This is our website, which is offline right now, but should be online tomorrow, I promise. We have a Slack channel here, and a Twitter here, and we have a newsletter here. And you can contact me anytime. Probably most of you guys are from Siemens, so by just my name you can figure out who I am and have me an email or something. Yeah, any questions?